Well, let's roll, freaks. Let's see what we got here. Let me turn the sound down, make sure we're not having any feedback. Chris Beaton, good to see you, man. Yeah, I was watching, just messing around with the Trenny and C there, having a little fun, and thought, well, what the hell if they were closing, and if Swami didn't go to live, he's going to go live tomorrow. Well, what the hell? We might as well do it now, right? I'll give you guys a sneak preview of a couple of things, I guess. I'm interested in to hear your thoughts on the E.H. Taylor versus Minters. Well, unfortunately, let me come back to that. Actually, I'm more of a Scotch guy, but I am a huge fan of the E.H. Taylor's Bottled and Bond. That particular release is my favorite above Michter's, and I've had Michter's before. I'm more of a Scotch guy. Even though I'm from Louisville, Kentucky originally, and I've done all the bourbons here, there, Pappy Van Winkle, 23 years, and all the craziness, I'm usually sticking to Scotch. But I will definitely tell you that I'm a huge fan of the E.H. Taylor Bottle and Bond compared to the Michter's. We'll just keep it at that for now. We are going to go on a whole different type of voyage here, and hopefully you guys will be okay for the voyage. Let's see. It's funny. I'm not a big fan of this one. I've been sipping on the Eberfeldy 16. It's a decent honey, floral and fruity type of dram, but not my favorite. And it's only at 40%, so it's not very beefy on the ABV, unfortunately. But I have been looking at something recently that I think you might be interested in, and that would be the Springbank 15 rum matured. This, as you can see, I've been kind of having a little fun off and on with it. We might have to dive into that. I'll still do a short review after this live review and see where we get. How about that? That might be good. Maybe do 2 for 1. Maybe do the Eberfeldy 16 and the Springbank 15 rum cast matured just for fun. What the hell? 51%. Sounds pretty good. Thanks for Trenny and C. Give me a little segue. And good to see you guys as always. And I didn't know Trenny was over in Thailand. That's crazy. I've always wanted to go, never visited. But if I had my choice, I would go to Chiang Mai and I would hang out and play the Pinpia, which is an instrument they have over in Thailand, the jake and some other things. I like a lot of instruments and playing those. So yeah, we poured a little bit of the Eberfeldy earlier, the 16. We'll start, I guess, with that, finish that out, and then we'll go over to something else. What are you guys drinking? I'm just curious. Good to see Richie Z as well. What are you sipping? Kama, Chris, Beaton, and Richie. Let me know what you guys are drinking. I'm just curious. I'd love to comment and see what you guys think about that as well. This is something I just picked up when I was out and about, and I thought, well, I never had an Eberfeldy before, and I thought, well, if I'm going to try one, the 12 is probably not the best starting point. 14s are always kind of hit or miss. 16 to 18, usually you're getting into the better type of juice, so I figure that, it's going to be fairly decent. The best thing about this dram, the Eberfeldy 16, is the nose. It is the best part about it, unfortunately, and that's because of the ABV being only 40%. But it does have really, really nice nose with the balance of apples and peaches, other sweetness with savory notes, sourdough. It's actually a really good nose, but when you get to the palate, that's when you're kind of thinking, well, it's not a bad palate per se. It's actually pleasant. It's just that it doesn't have the power that you want when you get to the 43, 48, 50% plus ABV notes. So With that said, it's a medium mouth coat. It's not too light. It's not as light as like a Glengoyne mouth coat, which you probably know what I'm talking about there. It doesn't get to that thinness level, but it's not as thick as a lot of the other drams that you probably are used to when you get to the higher ABVs. Um, the finish is very short, unfortunately. It's it's not bad. It's not dry, which is nice. It does have a lot of great fruits and florals that come with it, but I have to remember what the price point is on this guy. It's been a long time. Elberfeldy 12 next. Good. Oh, hey, Jason. Good. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. Listen, the comments got the Apple Hour 12. And some people knock the Apple Hour for some reason, but I actually like it. I'm not a huge super fan, I would say, but I am a fan of the Abanon, the 18 at least. I haven't had the 12. What are your notes on the 12 there, comma? I'm just curious. Let me go up a little bit. Is it peated? No, this is not peated. This Eberfoldy 16 is not. It's got a really intense honey note to it. It's very honey, fruit, and floral balanced. So, I mean, it's not a bad dram. It's like I give it a 3 out of 5. 0.25 arguments. I'm still at about a 3 on this one. It's got some really good notes. But without all that said, it's not the most complex thing over than the fruits and florals and honey that you get out of it. It's a nice solid, Highland-esque type of dram. I believe Eberfeld is Highlands. Let me double check that just to make sure, because I don't want to give you guys the wrong information on that one. Just give me 1 second just to double check. Let's see. Distiller is a really good, foundation for checking out different bottles when you want to get just some quick information. Eberfeldy 16. Let's see what they got. Here we go. It reads pretty well overall for 40%. It's Oloroso Sherry is what we're dealing with this one. Oloroso Sherry on that one. But even with that said, it's not going to blow your socks off. It's not, it's not on the 9-8 level. It's more of like a 6 to 7 as far as out of 10. If you're looking at it that way, I would say not bad, but not outstanding. But usually it's not that pricey. I was able to get it at a local store for a reasonable amount, but you do have to do your homework and try to, find a good deal, especially when you get above the 15 level, 16 years, 18 years, you have to do your homework and, look around a bit, try to find a decent deal. But that's what I'm looking at as far as that goes. 1 second, let's get back to the old thing here. Here we go. Hey, Gawkin, good to see you, man. It's been a long time. Tronamaha, good. Hopefully you're doing well there. And getting a lot of green apple on this nose. I've had this bottle over a year. Wow. Yeah, this one, you're talking about the 12, I believe you said, for the Elberfeldy. I have not had the 12. And green apples is a good note to get. This one in particular, the 16, is very heavy on the honey. It does have some apple and pears, white grapes, and more of the lighter notes, but it's extremely heavy on the honey end, I'd say. Gawkin, I'm sipping the Eberfeldy 16 just for fun. I've dabbled in it a little bit. As you can tell, I haven't hit it like hardcore, but enough to like get a good idea, of what I think the dram's gonna come. And it's not terrible, but it's not perfect either, I have to say. Thanks to the spur of the moment live guys coming in on here when Trenny and C were closing up, I thought, well, what the hell, I wasn't planning on going to sleep right away, so I thought, well, might as well get at least a discussion in there and see how things are going and how you guys are doing. It looks like Kama's a big rookie Scotch guy. Went from The Glens to the Aberlour, it's richer tasting. Yeah. Aberlour is a good sherry bomb to go into. If you're a fan of the Aberlour, I definitely recommend dabbling in the affordable Macallans. But also take a really deep look into Glendronach. Glendronach, if you haven't already tried, is an extremely good sherry-based whiskey. One of my favorites. Ben Nevis is another good one. Look at Ben Nevis. They have a solid 10-year, a 15-year distillery, and there's a lot of independent bottlings out from Ben Nevis. Now, sometimes they do have a lot of sulfur involved with them, a little bit of funk, and so definitely get a sample maybe of Ben Nevis before you go all in and buying a bottle. But if you do like the sample you get and don't mind a little bit of funkiness, and I'm talking like the Springbank kind of Dunnage Warehouse funk, if you like that, you're going to be a big fan of Ben Nevis, like I am, I think, in the long run. Hey, Donner Pass, good to see you as well, man. Wow, already a lot of people coming. Sipping the Deanston 12 from Chris Beeston. The 12. Now, I have had personally the this Deanston 10 PX. I've also had the Deanston 18, which is more of a bourbon cask back there, which is really decent. The 12 I have not actually had. Now, if I'm going off of what I've known of Deanston being their 10 and their 20 and their 18, I had their 20 Oloroso as well too. A consistent distillery, they're always pretty good, and I think that the 12 would be a pretty good treat. I'd be surprised if it wasn't up to snuff as far as their other ones are pretty damn good, I have to say. Yeah, it's been a while, Gawkin. Good to see you, and hopefully you'll stop by again soon. I'm usually doing Tuesday nights if you weren't already aware. Yeah, the coronavirus is kind of crazy, but I'm in lockdown for the next 14 days, so I figure, what the hell? If I'm stuck at home, might as well do some whiskey reviews. What the hell? Be fun for you guys as well. Richie went from a Weller to an Elberfeldy without blinking. All right. Well, that's an easy segue, hopefully. Gawkins, from what you see, Gawkins says it's a very mellow and pleasing, a good one. Nice. And after trying 12, I could taste it in Dewar's 15. Yeah. I'm wondering if they probably do a lot of blends with the for the Dewar's stuff. And I actually like some Dewar's if I'm, if I can't get a single malt and I want something that's a blend. It's not a bad deal. Some of the Dewar's stuff is good if you're stuck at a party and all they, for Scotch, all they have is the Dewar's. For a little bit on ice is actually not a bad option. Even the 15. Pleasant sipper at a good price, yeah. Richie was staring at the 13-year cream sherry cask strength. Wow. I'll probably go back and get it. You definitely should. If they have a 13-year cream sherry finish cask strength, oh my God, I bet that's unbelievably good. I'd love to try it myself. I haven't had that one. Still is having the Balvenie 14. That's a good. I love the Caribbean cask. That's one of my favorite go-tos on the side if I went. Something kind of like the Ardbeg Grooves. It's got the really nice Caribbean cask notes to it. I prefer the Ardbeg Grooves, but if I don't have that as an option, the Balvenie 14 Caribbean cask is, right up there with, I think, being the same kind of tones and a good choice overall. Good to know. I'll know Tuesdays. Yeah. I can taste it too, enjoy Dewar's, but older ones, yeah. Sitting down in ecstasy at 7. Yeah, I don't know. I got caught up with the comments. Anything Deanston cask strength has been fantastic. I can imagine. I don't know if I've ever had a cask strength Deanston. This 18, I believe, is 46.3. So sounds like, unless the PX10, which I think There's also, let me do a little digging real fast. I bet it's something really similar. Let me bring the notes over here so I can take a look and see. 1 second. The one other one I had was the Deanston 10PX, I think it was. Yeah. I don't think it was that hot on the ABV. 57.5, really? Wow, I didn't think it was that hot. That was very good, though. I did love the 10 Deanston PX cask. And no wonder I liked it so much. It was 57.5. Well, there you go. Cask strength for the win. Also had the 20 Oloroso. I don't know what the ABV on that was. Let's take a quick look. Oloroso looks like 55.5. Is that right? I guess it's possible it'd be that hot, but I wouldn't think so. Let's see. 20. 55.3, yeah, it was another hot one though. So I guess the 20 and the 10, the Oloroso and the PX are cask strength. So I definitely think you'll be very happy with it. These guys have been going on the side talking about them. Awesome bourbon and one I'll keep buying. Yeah, hope I find one tomorrow. Never seen a Deanston. Keep it in mind. Yeah, still Z. You definitely should try any Deanston you can find. Their entry level is the Virgin Oak. Now that one I haven't had. It's very cheap. I think it's like $30 to $40 when it comes to Scotch. So that's on the lower end. I mean, I'm definitely thinking it's probably worth a try. But if I was taking like my first sip, I would definitely start with a 12 or an 18 or the 10 PX or a 20 Oloroso. Something around there I think would be your best shot if you can find it. But if the Virgin Oak's all you've got, then, you know, looks like Gawkin just did a side-by-side with the 12 and the Virgin Oak, and it was cool. Running effect for the extra few years, yeah, between the Virgin Oak and the 12-year. But Chris Beaton says that the Virgin Oak's definitely a good Scotch. So there you go. If there's people, you know, happy with that, and obviously all the other ones, it sounds like you can't like really go wrong with the Deanston. And I can't wait to get another bottle of that. I'll have to keep my eyes peeled for another new bottle and see if you know, how well we do with that deal. I'm sure it'll go well. Sorry, I'm hearing myself come out of the monitor here. I'm trying to kill that if at all possible. There we go. The Virgin Oak is definitely good Scotch as well, yeah. So I think that you can't really go wrong with that piece of it on the Deanston side. Aberfeldy is one of those that, you know, it might not wow you, but if you find a 16 or 18, 21, 20, whatever, I think if you start with the 16 or higher, you will be in better company. We'll put it that way. Now, for a sneak peek on this guy, let me get a fresh glass. I'm going to go for one of these dragon glasses I like a lot. They're easy to decant when you're wanting to still have a good nose, because it's got the, you know, the nice profile at the top to keep it centered, but you also have a lot of room for decanting on the bottom here. So let me get this over here, move this out of the way, and let's take a look at this bad boy here, the sneak peek, and I will do a short review more detailed on this guy. This is a sneak peek for the Springbank Rum Cask matured 15 years, and I'll tell you, it's 51% ABV, and I do like it, but it's a very disjointed is kind of a negative word to use. The nose and the palate are not connected in any way. As long as you think of it that way when you're going in, you're not going to be disappointed. If you think going into the nose of this that it's going to, you know, meld or sync, harmonize with the palate, it's not going to happen. It's just the way I see it here, and I think it's because it's a rum cask with Springbank. It's really tough to do a port cask or a rum cask and get it perfect. It's just really tough to do. With that said, let's pour us a bit of the rum and see what we get with this. Now, nose-wise is a lot different than the palate. So just because I give you some nosy notes here, don't think that's what you're going to get on the palate at all whatsoever. The funny thing about this, on the nose, you get a lot of like weird, I'm gonna say weird, but it's funny because you get like a little bit of a mint with a chocolate chip, like a mint chocolate chip, with that really nice barley, fresh and effervescent, bright from Springbank. This is not a funky dram. You're not going to get the Dunnage Warehouse funk on this, but you are going to get some intense minty, chocolatey, mentholyptus almost type of notes to it. Now I'm hearing Pink Floyd in the background. That's weird. I think I have another computer that's going on in here. Let me see if I can stop it while we have a second. If not, it's okay because I like the Floyd. I'm hearing echoes in the background. I play drums on the side and guitar and bass and stuff, and I've been jamming some old classic. If anyone knows Pink Floyd, Metal is one of my favorite albums, and there's a song called Echoes on it that I really, really enjoy messing around with. So I hear it like in the distance for some reason. But yeah, it's funny because there's a lot of minty, spearmint, peppermint, those type of notes on the nose with this like chocolate chip thing going on. But you also get some of the fruit. It's like on the light side of like the white grapes. Some distant lemon, lighter fruit. No pears or anything really sweet or apples to speak of, though. Very much on the more grape side, I'd say. The palate's completely different, though. That's where you get that rum cask. It's got a very nice sweetness to it. Still, unfortunately, I wish there was a little more funkiness involved with this for a 15-year cask, but it's not bad. It's nothing like I expected it to be. The caramel and the sweetness is there. It's a nice, bright, almost Brooklotti barley-esque type of venture. On the finish, you get more of the caramel, more of some mint chocolate chip notes. It comes in and it is a nice balance, but it's so disjointed with the nose and the palate. The finish is good, though. It's not a bad dram. It's just not what you expect it to be, I think, is the only problem with the Springbank 15 rum cask. It was on the pricey end, too. It was like $180 to $190 from what I remember, US dollars. But I don't have buyer's remorse. I don't feel bad for trying out the sip. Some basil and some other floral notes in there as well, like herbal type notes. Some nice deep basil stuff in there, but Wish it was a little more. Hmm. I do wish there was more leather properties involved, but I do appreciate the effervescence and the marriage of the barley with the minty, chocolatey notes. I mean, it's nice. It's just so different than what I expected it to be. So, hey, Louis Ocha, good to see you, man. Louise, I should say, probably. Yeah, the Springbank 15 is nice. It's different. It's a lighter dram than what I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be a little more thicker, a little more dense, but it's not bad. It's just a little more in the lighter area. The chocolates are thick. It's got a nice dark chocolate minty note, but other than that, everything else is very on the bright end of the barley and the malt. Spring makes have gone up like crazy. That's true. It's insane the price on some of these. Yeah, Gilmore's a fantastic guitarist. Richie Z is saying, yeah, I love a lot of his stuff. I mean, every musician in that group is outstanding. I think Mason is a very underrated drummer. Like, I was a huge Neil Peart fan, and he passed away recently from a Rush. Uh, my favorite drummers are like Neil Peart, Bill Bruford from King Crimson and Yes, Alan White from Yes, Nick Mason from Floyd. Gavin Harrison is a newer drummer that played in Porcupine Tree and The Pineapple Thief. And I mean, I like all that stuff. Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater, and now he's doing the Winery Dogs and some other new stuff recently. I'm trying to remember what the band's name is, but I know he's doing some. What are they called? They just came out with something recently too that was really good. That's the thing with all of these prog rock bands, they interchange members like crazy. Experimental Springbank, is there any funk? No, that's the weird thing, Richie. It's very laid back. Let me give you more notes here. I'm gonna look up Springbank 15 rum to be specific. Yeah, here we go. 51%, like I said, it's got a nice ABV. It's not super hot. You can drink it neat. And I didn't really get a lot of difference with the water. I'm going to pour me a little more here. Actually, I'm getting a little low. Good problem to have. Let's see. It rates pretty well. Looking at Distiller, for example, the average is fairly high from what I remember. Let me look and see what the... only 7 tastes, not that many, but out of the ones they have, it looks like 4.5, 4.5, 4, 5.0, 4.5, 4.75, 4.75. No one's done any detailed tastings, which I will do here really soon. But it's, I think overall it's tasty. It's just extremely on the light end of not light as in power. I mean, it's powerful. It's a true 4.5 out of 5 type of dram. It's really good. It's just it's so strange to get the mint with the chocolate chip with the basil and some pineapple and the fruit. I think it's there's even some coconut in there. It's got some tropical nice elements. I think from the rum cask that comes through with that. Huh. It's better and better as time goes on. I will say that. Hey, good to see you, Swami. Grab a beer. You might as well. Bayou Drams. Good to see you as well. Let me go back here. Hey, Ben Demon Hunter, newer person to join up, and I appreciate you stopping by as well. Wow, nice fill-in. Whiskey Pilgrim, good to see you as well. Wow, it's been a while. Yeah, Bill Bruford is a genius at the drums, and hardly noticed. It's really sad because he is probably. I mean, I'm a huge music fan, I'm probably if I had to pick an instrument, I'm the best versed at. It's guitar, lead guitar slash rhythm guitar. But I do play everything. I play bass, play drums, I play the whole 9 yards. And with Bill Bruford, man, he played with UK. He played with Yes. He played with King Crimson. He played with the best musicians his entire life. I mean, to go from Yes in 1972, 73, and to join King Crimson at their peak and carry them through the 80s, you can't get better than that. I'm sorry, but the guy's a freaking genius. And he's retired. It's the saddest thing ever. No one has stepped up to take his shoes and fill in his place. I'd love to do it, but there's just no freaking way. I like to dabble with everything. So if I focused on just the drums, maybe if I took like 20 years and like just focused like hell on it, I might be able to pull that off. But it's a tough venture to make. He's still alive. Yeah, he's still kicking. Why are you dressed like a summer camp director? This is my mom's gift to me. She sent me this shirt because like the tale is that this is from last year. Louisville got in some major trouble. It might have actually been 2 years ago. They got in some major trouble when they were like their players were involved with like prostitutes and all sorts of crazy shit. And the FBI got involved, and the FBI like took over and like took their championship away like a few years ago and the whole 9 yards. So this is actually a University of Kentucky type of shirt, blue. So it's kind of like the UK guys making fun of the Louisville people. It's a long story, but I like Louisville and I like Kentucky for basketball. They're both great. They both kick ass. That's all I can ask for. It's kind of like the Ottawa Senators in hockey, right, Swami? I still love my Caps, though. I will say, even though they haven't been doing all that great this year, but still cheer for the Caps. How are your Senators doing, Swami? I'm just curious. Hey, Daniel, good to see you, man. Wow, this is like crazy, and many people are up at this time of night. I'll take it though. Really good to see you guys. Yeah, this is the Springbank 15 Rumwood there, Whiskey Pilgrim. A better shot at the old bottle. Sorry, I probably should give it a better look-see for you guys. And love you too, Swami. If you're talking to me, if you're talking to somebody else, whatever. I bet Neil Peart loved Will Burford. Oh, fuck yeah, man. I mean, Neil Peart he had the perfect taste. Neil Peart was no dumbass. I mean, he even liked Scotch, believe it or not. Neil Peart was a huge Scotch fan before he passed away. I hear he was a McKellen fan, no offense to him, but I heard that he liked to get involved with the McKellen drams from here and there. But with that aside, he probably would have got into what Swami and I like more so if he knew what to look for. But with him being a very successful best drummer of all time, he probably didn't have a lot of time to dabble in what we were gotten into. But at least he got into the Scotch, right? But he was a huge Yes fan. He loved Keith Moon from The Who. He was a huge Keith Moon fan, and I can understand why, because Keith Moon is crazy good. Even though he was haphazard and all over the place on the drums, he made it make sense, and that's what Neil Peart did. Even more so, he took the craziness and the complexity, and he could fine tune it and meld it down into even a system that would make sense for anybody to take a look at. That's what made him a great drummer. I mean, one of the best that ever touched the sticks. I'll never forget when I first got into music back in 90, 1, 8. Actually, no, this is 88. is when I first got into playing guitar. Really hardcore was like 1988, right before Presto came out, and he was a huge influence. I mean, my first CD was Rush's Presto album. I mean, I'll never forget it. I got my first CD player. It was a carousel type of thing. It had like five you could move around and a whole 9 yards. It was badass. And I had that Presto album. I played the shit out of that. And I still love The Pass, love War Paint, love Show Don't Tell, Presto, the song itself. I mean, every Available Light, everything on that album is fucking awesome. Anyway, I can go on and on about. I'm probably one of the biggest Rush fans you'll ever meet in your lifetime. So Telex, from what I understand, you're not really a bourbon guy. What's your thoughts on American single malts? That's one thing that I'd like to get more into. I have had some Corsair stuff that I liked. It was a Corsair a triple smoke type of malt that was really good. I liked it. I need to try the McCarthy stuff that they have out in Oregon. That's where they use the Lagavulin type of peat. That kind of thing. I just should get more into. I haven't tried a lot of it though. I'm more of a straightforward Scotch guy. Really, I don't really delve into the American single malts yet, but I'm not opposed to it. A lot of the stuff I had from Bobby Purnell, a guy in Texas, he sent me some stuff from Texas that were really good Texas malts that were newer. And I was impressed by what they produced at a very young, straightforward, out of the gate level. So I would keep my eyes maybe on what's coming out of Texas. You never know. It's a little warm and dry, but maybe they have maybe they could find a niche to get their product out there and come up with some good flavors. We'll see. Yeah, I love the drum talk. Yeah, I could go on for hours on that alone, and it's crazy. What are your thoughts on the Springbank? I like it a lot. Yeah, it's good. It's funny how the nose is so well balanced when it comes to the savory, the chocolate, the mint, the barley, the malt. It's funny because it's a good winter type of malt. It transcends to spring really well too. It's just weird how the nose and the palate are so different, disjointed. That's my only I don't want to call it a complaint, but my only issue is what you get on the palate and what you get on the nose are completely different stories. It's like talking about you know what I'm talking about. It's really disjointed. You already answered my question. Yeah. All right, Daniel. Some really solid malts from the U.S. Yeah, Stranahan's, Westland, McCarthy's, McCloney's. But that McCloney's I have to check out because I've heard that's like a lot of things going on there with that. Have you had any of the Texas single malts? Yeah, that's the ones I was talking about a second ago. They're really, really good. Guinness. I love Guinness. If I have to pick a beer, that's going to be the beer I go to is the Guinness. When I had my wedding back when I married in 2007, I chose to have my honeymoon in Dublin and also Belfast. So we went to Dublin and hung out for a little while there, a few days, travel up to Belfast for a while, went to Stormfront and the whole, statues and the whole craziness. Peace gates, peace lines from the Troubles in 2005, and still going on, and makes you think about how good you've got it in the United States, Canada. You don't have to worry about going to a state or province over and getting shot at, or worried about who's a Protestant versus who's a Catholic. that craziness, is insane. But they live it over there every day. It's a bit nuts. But I really appreciate my time over in Ireland, and hopefully get back someday. One thing I never saw was the Giant's Causeway, which is up in the north, and that's one thing that I hope to get to see. It's also on the Led Zeppelin's "Houses of the Holy" album. If you're ever interested, if you're familiar with that one, the Giant's Causeway has these columns of rock going up. Yeah, really beautiful. I'd love to be able to see that sometime. Daniel's asking what I'm drinking. I'm drinking this Springbank 15 rum cask. I'll pour a little more, actually. I'm gonna save a little more for a proper short review as we do the other ones. But as you can tell, my accent comes out a little more when I've drinking a little bit. There's even a peated Balconies. Balcones? I'm not sure how you say that. Probably butchering it, but I'm doing best I can. It's supposed to be the incredible. Okay. I'm going Balconies Wake. Peated Balconies single malt, that is. That sounds really good. You probably enjoy the Westland 1209. I'll try it. I'll try anything once. Demon Hunter says you'd like to stay, but falling asleep. Well, so much to you, Ben. Thanks for staying by. Louise says, but it might be just Springbank with some sherry. Yeah. I've got a sample of cast strength rye. Hold on, where was I? Oh, you got a sample of cast strength single barrel McCarthy's. But that's really good. Balcones. Okay. Balcones. I have my American Whiskey Infinite bottle. Tennessee. Okay. Interesting fruity note. And the caramel and vanilla is totally blended. Yeah, it's good. It reminds me, if you're familiar with Springbank, you already know of the green. The green is a 13 and 12 year offering they have with their organic barley, and this one is not as organic, maybe, but it's got that kind of tinge to the. I mean, the dark chocolate's very pronounced and deep, but the barley is more organic tasting than I think the typical stuff, and I think it's why we don't get a lot of the Dunnage Warehouse happening. Which is, he says, Bonzo Bonham was fantastic drummer. Yeah, sounds just as good. It's true. I'm a huge fan of Jason Bonham stuff. Remember Bonham, the band back in the day in the 90s, early 80s, whatever, and anything they've ever done is pretty good too, I have to say. I like a lot of Zeppelin stuff, especially solo work, guitar. Achilles' Last Stand is my favorite song by them. If you haven't heard it, bring up the Led Zeppelin's Presence album and put on some Achilles' Last Stand. One of the best guitar solos I've ever heard in my entire life. Balcones is based in Texas. That distillery is named after. Oh, okay. I didn't know they were local. I thought Balcones was one of those Irish places. That's funny. That sounds incredible. Yeah. The Infinity Bottle Bourbon Tennessee whiskey drops of rye, interesting fruity note in the caramel. No, it's totally blended. That sounds good. Yeah. Down's done some blending of bourbon sometimes. Right. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, Achilles' Last Stand is a classic, man. That's one of my favorites of all time. The drums alone in that are phenomenal. Guitar work. It's one of the most underappreciated Zeppelin pieces I think of all time. I can't think of a more underappreciated Zeppelin piece that everyone should download and listen to at least 4 times straight through before they, dub it a good one or a bad one. Gail says, I believe it's some kind of fault line, but whatever. Bayou says, been joining the single malt that Stranahan's in Colorado's put. Okay. Gawkins says it's not a Protestant Catholic conflict, no, but a Unionist nationalist conflict. The English like to confuse the issue. No, I don't dispute that, and yeah, it is also definitely not just the religious aspects of it, but it's the island of Ireland, the island versus the English slash Wales slash Welsh, whatever, Scottish influence. And yeah, I can understand the Sinn Féin. When I was over in Dublin for the honeymoon, I did visit Sinn Féin when I was over there. So you know what that means. Jerry Adams and Martin what was his name? Martin McDonald, I want to say. McGuinness. Martin McGuinness. And yeah. You know what I'm talking about. What is your favorite go-to unpeated Isla that you tend to enjoy? Okay. My favorite, and I hear animals going on in the background now. It's funny. I guess it's playing some of the stuff I like to play on drums. I hear in the distant background, it's playing Dogs off of Animals from Pink Floyd. Awesome song. Anyway, my favorite that I'm not going to sip just yet because I want to keep this for a review is the heel of this puppy right here. Unpeated Isla. This is what you needed to get right here. The Kalila 17 Unpeated Isla. Natural cast strength. Bottled in 2015. That is a good whiskey. If you could find it, this is what you do. When I first had it, I hated it. I did not like the olives and the salt. It was extremely aggressive, assertive, in your face, olivey, salty, briny, just absolute nonsense. So what I did is you pour this out, you decant it like a wine. This stuff is unreal. It's absolutely great, but you have to take your time and decant the hell out of it before you drink it. Now it's perfect. It's a 4.5, 4.75 whiskey. When I first touched it at the neck pour down to even around the label level, it was a 3.5 tops whiskey. So it's one of those I think that really shines at 55.9% ABV. It shines with some oxidation. So there you go. On that deal, also unpeated Isla, I would recommend highly the Bunnahabhain 18. That's excellent and unpeated, and one of the best Isla 18-year-old malts I've had that's unpeated that I can think of. Unpeated, man, that's a tough one for Isla. The Blosta is not a joke, but it's really tough to find the Blosta from Ardbeg. That's a really good, very low ppm. I think it's like 10 to 15 ppm compared to the usual Ardbeg. It's very low ppm, but it's a good dram. I think I would say. Massive change with slight oxidation. Yeah, it's crazy. The one from last year, not as much. Okay. The older 15 is good, from what Jason Coates is saying. The 94 Pulse Tour ruined me for concerts in general. I can't anything else living up to that. Yeah, that's unbelievable, man. I would say the Pulse Tour from 90. Yeah, that's like pristine, you can't touch it kind of shit from Floyd. And I was lucky enough to grow up with the Division Bell, so I know what you mean there. That was high school, was Division Bell for me. Oh man, I have the Kalila 15 from 2016. What's the difference? Probably not much. I think you'll be very happy with the 15. If you don't like it out of the gate, Daniel, I would definitely let it oxidize and be patient. Patience and Kalila impeded equals greatness. That's what I would say for that. Aldolfo just says, wow. I'm not sure what he's wowing about, but hopefully it's something good with the channel. Gawkin says, Daniel, I only put the heel of the Rittenhouse rye. I don't think I've tried that yet, but I should. I've been meaning towards those recently. Tell us, what is your favorite go-to? I answered that one recently. Let's go back down here to the comments. But 18 is incredible, yeah. Gawkin, man, that rye is so versatile, yeah. Does the 18 get extra compressed at the bottom third level? I love my first 18 bottle. Extra compressed at the bottom third level. Oh, man. I'm not sure what you really mean by that, but I've never had a bad bottle of 18. It's always been pretty decent and consistent. The old school gold level gold, box up there for the 18. That's the 18 right there. The new tins are also good, and I haven't heard any lowering of quality control or quality whiskey from them. So I think it'll be good to get the 18 no matter what level it's at. Guggen says the Welsh and the Scottish are Celtic people who are under English domination. Yeah, and my people. When I say my people, I'm talking about Johnston's. My last name's Johnston. Also from Scottish area, Annandale specifically. Annandale being lowlands. Annandale has a new Scotch coming out too. Actually, matter of fact, I have to try out at some point. I haven't got my hands on, but yeah, Dumfries, I think that area. Haven't ever been, but I'd love to visit over there. They got castles, I know, in the Johnston area of Annandale, and see what it's like. Yeah, we're Celtic people. We're not anything else but Celtic people. So there you go. Oh my. Let's see. Very true. Division Bowl is my junior year of high school. Same here, man. Yeah. Yes, great channel. Thanks, Aldolfo. Appreciate it. My sophomore year, loved it. Yeah, we're all in the same boat. It sounds like 94. I graduated from high school, so there you go. Love it. 15 is one of those that sits in a while in a class, and I drink it, and it motivates me to pour another to drink it. I think you're talking about the 15 here. Yeah. Love it. I just love the richness of the chocolate with that effervescent barley. Even though it's not funky like some of the Springbank, it still is a good marriage, and it's good. It's still a good dram. Richard Z says, I mean, the flavors start to explode, which doesn't mean, let's see, which doesn't always happen, but it happens a lot with my bourbons, yeah. Do you think Lafroig would ever do an Impeda style? Also love Pete. Just think that the a la Impeda version is so interesting. That's a good point, Daniel. Let's talk about that. Now, my favorites, as you can see behind me here, are the Ardbeg, the Lafroig, the Kilhoman, the Bunnahaven. Oh, I can't point because it's all reversed. There you go. The Bunnahaven and the Kalila. The Karen is Campbelltown. That's a whole different thing. But there's some Lafroig over there as well. My Lafroig was running so far to the right, I had to make an exception and start putting some Lafroig down here. That's how. So I probably am a bigger Lafroig fan than Ardbeg, maybe by look, but by taste, I think I might pull for the Ardbeg. I hate this to tell the Lefroy people. They probably hate me for it, but uh, I, I I really love the Ardbeg. Anyway, um, where was it going with all this? It was with the unpeated Lefroy. I wish they would, because if they did do it, they would do it justice and they would do it right. They would do a good enough job just like Kalila does. And Ardbeg has the Cadalton from 1980. There was an unpeated malt. My Kildalton, this big bad boy right there with the cross, is a Cadalton from 2014. Now that one's peated, but the 1980, which I haven't had, which I'd love to try, I've heard is very good. Cadalton 1980 Ardbeg. Now the only other Ardbeg that's not peated is the Blasta, which I do have back here as well. And that is a very good dram for unpeated, and I would put it up against anybody being an unpeated whiskey. And I'm sure the Ardbeg guys are kind of like, they don't rate it very high because it is different than the Ardbeg stuff. But if I want an unpeated good malt, the Blasta is very tasty, and I would put it up against anybody's unpeated malt anywhere. I don't care what it is. So there you go. Jason says, I wish every olive distillery would run a week of unpeated spirit every year. That's good. That's a good point. It would be nice to see their options at least. Speaking of culted people, happy St. Patty's Day. Yeah. And it's very sad that we don't have, the celebration that we're gonna miss a lot for St. Patrick's Day. I'm not Catholic myself, but I appreciate the Catholics, and hopefully everybody has a good St. Patrick's Day, even if they have to stay at home. We'll celebrate it with as much as we can on the side, and I'm sure between everybody doing live streams and whatnot, there'll be enough, and people having a dram here and there to keep it going. I would hope, at least. 97 here for Jason Coates. Speaking of Celtic people, happy St. Patrick's Day. Yeah. Jason, do you think the Thin Lizzy, my favorite band behind Rush, Bounty Johnny? Yeah. Amazing drummer. I hear you, man. Thin Lizzy is another good one. Jailbreak for the win on that one. I love that tune. That would be awesome if they did that for Jason Coates on from Bayou. The Kalila releases are so interesting. Super curious about the others. Yeah. Kilholman unpeated. I'd empty my bank account. Wow. For to live in a cabin alone for a few months. For a Kalila unpeated. That's one I have not seen them do yet, is an unpeated for Kalila. I'm sorry, for Kilholman. And Kilholman unpeated would be very interesting. I'm assuming it would be a lot like a Bruichladdich unpeated, but do they have any unpeated as well? Has anyone had any unpeated Bruichladdich? Let me know. They are also good from Daniel. Yeah, it would be a Kyrgyz version. No, Ardbeg didn't unpeated. Yeah, they did too. Daniel, they did the Blazda, which I have even still some to this day. I've been sipping on it off and on. A Blazda, which is like literally like 5 ppm. We're talking extremely low peat. Might as well be a freaking Bunnahabhain, if you know what I mean. Our big Blasta is very, very low and very unpeated, basically. And the Cadalton from 1980. I haven't had it. I'd love to try it. If anyone has any Cadalton from 1980, please, I'm begging you, please send me a bottle or a sample or something. I would be indebted to you forever. I would love to try it. I've heard it's great, and we'll leave it at that for now. Blasta with a D, BLASTA. ASDA actually, Blazda. Well, I put Patrick wasn't Irish, so if you aren't Catholic, I'm not Catholic either, but Irish, damn right. There you go. La Protraction. Oh, geez. I'm trying, Gawkin, but that's not an easy thing. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely be sipping a few for St. Patrick's and yeah, the Blazda. I have the 2007 Rockside Farms Bruichladdich right now. Is that peated or unpeated? I'm just curious. Yeah, the Blazda Classic Latte unpeated. That's the funny thing. The blue bottle, this puppy. You probably know it. If you don't know it, you should know it. I sound so Scottish right now. It's very scary. If you don't know it, you should know it. But yeah, this guy, empty as hell. This has been a couple years over, but very good. And it is unpeated, but it tastes like peat. It's weird. It's like I'm not sure how to even like describe it, but it's got some intensity on the barley. The Scottish barley is no joke. It's really good. And if it's not peated, that's fine. But the Scottish barley is very good, and I very much recommend it to anybody looking for a sip of anything there. Sorry about that. Very tasty dram. That's true. Let me go back here. Yes, the that is unpeated technically. It tastes like peat though. I'm not sure if it's the barley that tastes like peat or what the hell they do it, but it is so good. Gawkin says Catholic or Protestant, Irish is all that matters. Yeah, there you go. Isle barley is the same. The empty, dry glass the next morning smells like peat. Yeah, I remain skeptical. I'm the same way. I see. I don't get peat on it. I get brine like the crazy on the latte. Peat on the latte, that is. Yeah, maybe it's in the water. It is something with that, but I think it's the barley. If I had to take a guess of why it tastes so peaty to us, it's got to be that malted barley on the classic latte, the Bruichladdich. That Bruichladdich is something else, man. Classic latte goes all the way up to the 21-year-old version. Wow. That's one thing I haven't had other than the Black Arts. I've had the Black Arts, which I love from Bruichladdich, and the Octomores for the heavily peated side. But I haven't had any really old Port Charlottes or their standard offerings. I'm wondering what that would be like. If they had like a Bruichladdich that was 10, 15, 20-year-old that was just standard. Eric Guthrie, good to see you. Cheers if I haven't seen you before. Z gotta be, yeah. That's what I'm thinking is that oh, pour me some more of this Springbank. It's so good. And thanks for you guys sticking around too. I appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up before you leave if you don't mind. If you have to go early. But gotta pour a little more. And this is going to be one of those drams that I think people will like. It's going to be like the green, where I think at first you might be kind of startled. You might be like, "What the fuck have I bought?" But if you give it time, you give it its just due. You give it, you know, it's Springbank. You know it's going to be decent. It's handcrafted. It's done in house. It's bottled in house. It's not overly marketed to crazy extents. It's 51% for God's sakes. It's 15 years for God's sakes. It's not colored. It's beautiful the way it is. So I think, with all that said, even if it's not your wheelhouse, you're still going to find a lot, and I mean a lot, to appreciate from all you're getting from it. Catching up here. Celestial Seasonings, Wild Berry Zinger, Great Berry Notes. Wow. Celestial Seasonings, Wild Berry Zinger. What the hell is that, Gawkin? Is that a Scotch or is that a some sort of wine? Do you think the peated notes from the barrels and the spree spake comes to the brick houses? I'm not sure who's asking on that one. Brook Latte Classic Latte goes all the way to 24. Yeah. 21, 10, 16, 21. Gonna pour some regular Springbank 10, but heck, I'll give it a thumbs up on my. Oh, thanks a lot there, Eric. Yeah, the 10, man, I have a great story about the 10. One of my favorites. That's teal. Yeah. That's the tea. The Springbank 10, I'll tell you a quick one of my favorite stories. When I was with the family, we were for my little one, she was probably 11 or 10, 9 at the time. I'm thinking 9-ish. And she was on spring break, so we thought we'll travel a little bit. So we drove up to Maine, and we drove from Maryland up through Rhode Island, Connecticut, and up that way up to Maine. And when we were in, I think it was Rhode Island, there was a blue, I want to say Blue Heron or Blue Cave or Blue Cove. It was something blue something. It was a restaurant, and it was up near Rhode Island and Maine. So we pull in. Looks really nice. Looks like it's going to be a good venture. The food was outstanding. And I looked at their scotch, and I'm like, "What do you guys have?" They have a Springbank 10. I'm like, "Wow, that's irregular. I've never seen Springbank 10 on a restaurant menu before." But I'm elated. I'm happy because I'm already a big fan at that time of the Springbank 12 cask strength, the Springbank 10, the Springbank 19 port cask, and the Springbank 15, et cetera, the Springbank 12 green, 13 green, etc. So I'm already like, it's a go. We're going to go for the Springbank 10, no questions asked. Order my, my seafood, scallops, whatever, and I wait. And then they come up and they give me this wine goblet, huge. I mean, the glass itself is that big, and I've got some big hands. So we're talking, pretty big. They pour 3/4 of this with Springbank 10 from the basement, all dusty to no idea what they have. So they pour me a big pour. I enjoy the hell out of that, savor it, and sure enough, I have another one just like it. That's a huge Springbank 10 pour, and that was the best experience of any restaurant I think I've ever had. Just for the sheer fact of having great food, great scotch at a very, very reasonable price. How could you say no to that, right? I mean, that was unreal. It is an herb tea from Gawkin. Okay, I'll have to keep that in mind. Peated notes from Brook Latte unpeated is what I'm talking about. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Is your wife supportive of your whiskey passion? My current lady is, but she won't drink it. Yeah, same thing here with GZ, to be honest with you. She is supportive. Excuse me. She's supportive, but she will not drink it very, She likes old fashions. She likes mixed drinks and that kind of thing with whiskey. She likes the old granddad, mixed with whatever. But I would not let her mix any of my whiskey with whatever she wants to have. I don't care what it is. So anytime I get her to try to know something, like if I give her one, the Springbank is a good example. Like, hey, get in here, tell me what you think. Usually it smells like scotch is what I get, kind of thing. So I don't even go there anymore. It's really sad. But she is supportive, thankfully. Spring Break 10 is still my favorite spring break from Jason Coates. Well, cheers to that, my friend. Cheers to that. I think you'd like this 15 rum cask. I think it is a good little venture. It's expensive. It's 180 to 190. But for a 15-year rum cask matured, it's not priced completely unreasonably, horribly, out there. It's right on that cusp, though, of value, I'd say. Right at that level. Sorry. I need to type the context into the messages because of how you're reading this stuff off. Sorry about that. Yeah. Isn't the older Lottie a 22? I'm sure, probably. Maybe Jason Coates, I was going off of memory. But if you're right, back with the Springbank 10, yeah. Almost bought one from Jason Coates. I just got mixed up. Let's see. Then almost became your best friend. Uh-oh. That's one of my favorite dream buys. I do like the 15 rum cask. I have a sample of it. Oh, okay, good. I kind of regret passing. It was only $200 too, but there was so many choices. Yeah. It's one of those that's like, I can see why people love it, but I would also see why people might pass it. It's better than C. It's better than average. I won't get into a grade per se just yet because I want to do a proper review first, but it is on the upper end, I'd say, of scotches. Definitely at least a 4. I'll have to think about how much more than a 4 I would rate it, but it is a 4 at least at this point. Jason Coates says, I kind of regret passing only $200. Wow, yeah. The 56.2 Springbank 12 cask strength is so hard to beat. Yeah, that is a classic, great scotch. And it's usually like 1 to 110, 120 at the max. It's a really great price for a 12-year and being cask strength. It's like, how can you say no to that? It's insane. Oh yeah, 56.2 is a good batch. I have one open as well. That would be ideal. This is 51, but 56.2 would be very nice. Everyone has anyone tried the Balcones Brujeria single malt? Not here. Maybe some of you guys. It's my favorite whiskey of all time. Wow. Balcones Brujeria single malt. I'll have to keep my eye on that one if you think it's your favorite of all time. That's saying something. 12 cask strength was 99 here before tariffs. Heck of a deal. Hell yeah, it's a hell of a deal. This is like 110 to 120 here before the tariffs. So there you go. Rich Disease is to buy drams. My lady drinks light beer, but that's it. Not even. I have a few of the $100 bottles. Wow. Way more for me. Yeah. You won't find it. I'll have to send you some. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I'd be willing to try anything, even if it's not scotch. I will definitely, if someone sends me something, I don't care what it is. It could be mouthwash. I'll do a review on it. That's how appreciative I am of anyone sending anything. It's Sherry Finished Texas Sign Malt. Okay, that sounds really good to me. I love sherry and sherry finished malt. Man, that's where it's at. So sounds good to me. Oh man, I can't believe it's already after 2. Well, what's next, guys? Wow, there's still people watching. I'm surprised that you guys are still up, but I'll take it. I've got trying to think. Man, I've been cleaning the house a little bit. I do have an inventory, a spreadsheet that I keep. Let's see what's on the old inventory spreadsheet here. Got the we talked about the Elberfeldy 16 already. I've got a little bit of the Ardbeg Era Verdes still. You can do a review on that before I kill it. I've also got the Ardbeg Supernova Stellar 2008 release. Got to do a review on that before I kill it. With the Ardbeg Blazda as well. I got to do a review on that before I kill it. The Bunnahaven Strölider, I should do a proper review on that. The Kalila 17 Unpeated, should do a proper review on that. The Cardew Gold Reserve, that's the Game of Thrones bottle. It's, it is what it is. I won't go into detail on that. Glencadam 13, should do a proper review on that. Glendolin Select, Game of Thrones offering. Good, but for different reasons. Scopic Losna, it's iffy, 40%. Speyside 12, same thing. Tenenic 10, same thing. Tool 16, a little better, but not going to blow your socks off. And I've been talking about the Springbank 15 room cask already. We do have an unopened. We do have a Ardbeg Grooves limited release. I killed my committee release first thing, but I do have an unopened Ardbeg Grooves limited release I should look at some point. I do have an unopened Ardbeg Trevon 19 I'm looking to get into at some point, hardcore. I've got a Clanley Select Reserve Game of Thrones unopened. I should open up that and review that at some point. Lagavulin 18 Fish Shill from 2 years ago. That's going to be a definite fun opening. Lafroig 18 unopened. I'm definitely going to have fun with that one. It's the white label. Rollock Nagar 12 Game of Thrones unopened. That might not be that surprising or exciting, but it'll be fun to look at. And the Tamdu Batch 1 I have saved from my friend Bob H. up in New Jersey. We'll hopefully be trading for a Jura 16 Jura Zone, which is their best, I think, at this point. I've heard that the 18 is sort of reviewing fairly well, but I might stick to the Jura Zone 16. Let me know what you think about that in the comments before we take off here and see what that comes up. But that's my game plan so far. And I've also got the list from Petite Cellars that have lots of scotch available that I could probably pick up. Let's see some of the prices and some of the offerings they have and see what you guys think what I should maybe pick up. Elberfeldy, I'm kind of sold on. I've already got the 16, so we'll go with that. The Aberlour, they do have the Aberlour Cask Anama, which is $75. That's the kind of one-off cask they did recently. It's interesting. I might try to pick that up. We'll see. Amaranth, I try to stick to Scotch, but that's always an option. Enoch, I've already had 24. I'm cool with that. Ardbeg, we've already done pretty much everything from them. Auchentoshan has an 18 Lowland. I might do for 120. I don't know if it's worth 120 or not for the 18 Auchentoshan. Tell me what you think. That's an option. A 21-year-old Altmore for 230. Altmore is not one of those that is readily available. I have had the 18 and liked it. 21 sounds intriguing, but for 230 is a bit pricey. We might come back to that. Ball Blair is kind of out there with a new make. I'm going to skip that for now. Balvenie. Balvenie, for 25 year, they have for $625 to way out of my price range for that. And I've already had the Port Cast 21, so we probably will skip that. The Tune 1509 for $400 is a little steep for me. I think I'll skip that. The Bendu from Speyburn I've had before. $60, pretty good venture if you're interested in something very different. We'll keep it that way. Benriach, They have a 25 Authenticus for $550, a little pricey for me. 21 year is $240 though. Been right, 21 year for $240. That sounds pretty good. I might go for that. Ben Romick, 30-year space out for $400. Oh, if I had $400, I would consider it, but I don't have $400, so I'll have to skip that one. Springbank Raw Cask 14 Blackadder 500. Ooh. I like Blackadder as an independent bottler, but for 500, that's a bit steep. The Bladnoch Adela for 15 years for 120 is a good buy. I've had it already. It's a really good scotch. They have a Bladnoch Talia for 25 year for 400. If I had the money, I would consider it, but that's a little too pricey for my taste on the. But I do like the Bladnoch for Lowland. If you're looking for a Lowland and you want something a little different, and you want something good, go for Bladnoch. Good distillery. Bowmore, kind of past that. Brooklady, we got the 10.3 for 230. Possible. I hear the 10.4 is the best. They don't have the 10.4 there, but 10.3 for 230 is probably not bad. But I'm having 25 year $600. 12 year $50. That's a much better deal. Clearly 15 unpeated for 160. A little pricey, but probably not bad. Let's see. Kind of just going through the motions, see what they got here. We'll skip all the compass boxes and all that mess because they have everything. And if I had to pick one, I would probably pick the Phenomenology, which they've already sold out of. So scratch that. Krgeliki 23 year for 235. That would be awesome. That I could sign up for because I do love those 13. Haven't even tried their 17 year they have for 150, so that would be another one that I would try definitely. Dalmore 18 year for 220. I'm sorry, way too fucking high. It needs to be 160 to 170 for the Dalmore 18, not 220. It's a pass. Sorry, just not doing it. Do have the King Alexander for 275, and that is a little more easier to stomach, but I've already had it, so we'll skip that bottle. I'd rather go for a high year. Dalwhinnie 25 for $400. That would be awesome if I could afford it. 15 is $65. That's pretty good. Deanston 20 year for 165. Sold. That's an awesome bottle. Deanston 20 year for 165. Hell yeah. Let's go to the next deal here. Got some Edgedower here. Edgedower Balakan 10 year for 75. Pretty good. Edgedower 12 year for 80. Pretty good. Not bad. Let's skip through all the extra independents and whatnot. I tend to try to, stay with the independent, outside the independent bottlers until I get through some of these distillery bottles first. Glen Grant 18 for 120. That's probably pretty good. My last one was the 15 first fill cast strength, very good. 15 year, I loved it. 18, I should try. Glenmora 18 for 85, good price, good bourbon barrel, straightforward cask. I like the sherry one, it was well for $30. Glen Scotia 15 at $70. Easy purchase, very well done. Glen Scotia 15 for 70. That's a no-brainer. Glen Scotia 18 for 100. Also good if you like a bourbon cask. It's a very good bourbon cask, I'd say. Victoriana $80. That's another good dram for Glen Scotia. Glenellicky 25 for 400. If I had the money, the 18 at 150 is a really good deal. I like that. Glencadam, they only have the 13, or already have it 70. It's a good deal. Glendronach, 27-year for 1,000. Wow, that's a pretty pricey. 24-year, 650, still pricey. 21-year, 240, still pricey. 18-year, 190, still pricey. 15-year revival at $100. That's where I might come to agree with that one. Glenfarclas, 25-year, 170, pretty good. We used to be 150 before tariffs, but 170 is not that bad for a 25-year-old Glenfarclas. I'll take it. Glenfiddich, let's see. 1821. Let's see. 21 at 180, 26 at 500. I would take the 21 at 180 probably for that price. Definitely. Glen Glasgow, Torfa 70. Good dram. Revolval at 65, but I'd much rather have the Torfa at $70. It's just me. Glengoyne 21 at 170. Probably rather get the 25-year, but they don't have it there. Glenkinchie Distiller's Edition is 80. I only had the 12. Might be pretty good. For 80, I would try the Distiller's Edition for Glenkinchie. Glenlivet 25-year, $400. I don't know, man. It's awfully pricey. 21 years, 240, 230, 240. 21, maybe. Glenmorangie. 18 is 135. Let's see what else we got here. I'm kind of skipping around for the years. But yeah, Glenrothes at 18 is 135. Now that I can get behind. The Morangy 18 is $100, and it's kind of like, some of their specialized stuff, like the Kinder Bourbon 14-year port, $60. That's probably a better deal. Or the Signet at 190 is a better deal, I'd say, overall. Glenrothes we talked about. Let's go to the Hazelburn 14 Oloroso 130. Count me in, definitely. That's a great bottle. Holland Park 17-year ice at 300. 17 the dark at 300. 17 the light at 300. All the good Holland Parks are at 300 minus the 18 at 140. I'll take the 18 at 140 every day of the week. The 25 at 700, no thank you. It's great, but it's not that good. Fire for 250, too high. 17-year ice is good, but 300, I don't know, man. It's a close one. Alajura 30-year 475. I'm not sure what you think. 21-year 135. Now that sounds a little better. Probably an old one. 21-year for 135 definitely sounds old. They have an 18-year for 150. Imagine that. So your 21 year is 135, but your 18-year is 150. What the hell? That is crazy talk. Moving on. Sorry guys, but it's kind of fun. Kilhoman. They have lots of great Kilhomans here. Impex 2019 Evolution 1 for 160. That sounds pretty damn good. We have lots of Kilhomans. A Campbelltown 12-year for 75. I got to get my hands on that. That's for sure. Didn't even know they had a 15. What was it? 12-year, whatever. We've got the 15 Kilherran Oloroso for 190. That's a good one. That's a great price too. Kilherran, definitely great. The Distillers just for Lagavulin 120. That's not terrible. Could be better though. Lafroig 30-year for $850. God, that's high. $775 for the 27-year. $425 for the 25 years. I could live with that. A $425 for $425. That would probably be the best deal there. Lacheg 18 for $150. That sounds good. And Lacheg 1996 VTG for $175. That sounds ideal. I might have to pay that up myself, actually. Look, Lamond 18 for $70. Doesn't sound bad. McKellen Estate for $240. The Mortlock 12 new one for $60. Huh. I think I might rather have a Mortlock 16 or an 18 or 20 something maybe, but any of the new Mortlocks would be really interesting to try. I've heard they're pretty decent. Oban 18 for $150. The old, and I mean old Pulteney 17 for $130. That's an outstanding deal. Pityvac 25 for $375. 25-year Pityvac is pretty good. It's a dead distillery, I think. If it's not dead, it might as well be because you can't find anything for it hardly. Royal Brockla 16-year for $145. The Glosna from Scotper for $100. It's it's okay, but it's only 40% ABV. Kind of makes me sad. Let's see what else we got here. We're getting close to the end. Spade from Mari, $60. That's a good one for the Space Side Distillery. Spadebird 25 for $250. That's a great deal. Spadebird 25 for $250. Springbank 15 rum cask. We talked about $180. 15-year normal is $150. And 12 cask strength they've got for $125. Interesting. Looks like the 10-year has gone up from $75 to $90. That is insane. I thought 75 was high, but now they're selling it for $90 a piece for the Springbank 10 here in Maryland. Talisker 18 for $150. That's a good deal. The Tandu 15 for $100. That's a good deal. The Tinnick 17 for $300 is a little high, I'd say. The Aaron 18 for $232. That sounds pretty good. The Aaron. You don't see that very often. And last but not least, it looks like we got the Teleberdine 25 for $300. That's probably pretty good. And the Wolfburn they've got for $65. They don't really tell you what type it is. Timmental 16 for $70. I've got that. That's pretty much Tomatin 18 for $85. Nothing special, but that's pretty much all the deals I've seen recently out of the petite sellers that I usually deal with here locally. Wow, sorry about all the back and forth. The Craig 23 is so damn good. Yeah, imagine, man. That, I bet, is unreal. I'm going back in the comments 1 second here. Let's see. Oh, I was reading the petite sellers cost that we got from the deal. Oh, you have the phenomenology, man. Oh, that is my favorite compass box. I can never find it anywhere. I assume the 13s for sure. Never seen the Hazelburn around here. Yeah, they have it in Ellicott City. Thankfully, they have a few. I had to get online. Oh, that's sad. 13 is a staple at the house. Yeah, 13 is a good one. Joined 13 even with Jason Coates. 80 miles. That's a long way to go for whiskey. My God. The Craigellachie 17. I'd like to try it. I've never tried it before. The 16's on Jason Coast's list for the Martlock. Good choice. In Shreveport, we can regularly get the Glenmorangie super discounted. Nice. Wish you can do better there. Huh. Although, to be fair, we actually pretty good selection here. It's pretty big. 12. Wow. 17, but not gotten to it yet. Yeah, the Krigelty 17 and 23. I would love to get my hands on those two and do a little review and see how those go. Well, guys, I better turn it off here. I've got to go to bed. I'm about to fade. It's been a late venture, but thanks so much for hanging out with me for the. Wow, it's only already been a couple hours almost, but thanks for hanging out, and hopefully see you again soon. Tuesday, I'll be doing the Springbank 15 as a short review, and I'll probably pick out something, I guess, at this point to do on the side too, and see what we get out of that. Tell me about it. 40 open, 215 reserve. Wow. Whiskey Scout, good night to you, Daniel. I appreciate you stopping by, and everybody else. Yeah, it's been fun. I never would have thought about it unless Trenny and C even mentioned it. Good to see Trenny out in Thailand. I'm surprised of all places for him to be. That's cool. And C holding the fort down in Canada. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Please stay healthy. Please stay hydrated, and try to make the best of this quarantine situation. I'm actually quarantined from work. They actually had it at my work, and I work for the U.S. government, so we got to be really careful. So just try to if you can hang tight and stay within yourself for 14 days, that would be ideal. No, don't joke about that. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna stay home and drink whiskey, do my job, and make the best of it, man. That's all you can do, right? And thanks for you guys for sticking around, and see you Tuesday night. Give me a thumbs up before you go if you don't mind. I appreciate it. Sláinte mhath, and have fun, everybody, and stay super safe, and see you in a couple days.